Is Waritsra gonna bail on you?
What?
I don't know. I messaged Waritsra already. Oh man,
Oh yeah,
she coming?
I also did too,
She's
but
making.
she doesn't reply yet.
I've had this happen before. I had a student quit and not tell the other student.
Oh no! She will not do that to me. She can't. She can't. All right, I will call her.
Yeah, tell her, hurry up, man. You're losing time.
Oh yeah. She's not answering. Oh.
Suvicha, do you have the presentation?
I have,
I,
but
let's,
what is not answer me?
yeah, why don't we go ahead and start? That's her problem. It's her grade.
Oh, okay.
I understand that you kind of will mess it up a little bit because she's not here, but why don't we go ahead and start?
Yeah, and we separate the work too. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I know it'll throw you off a little bit, but just take a breath and why don't you go ahead?
Okay, I will go ahead and do my part. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Oh, don't forget your camera.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Can you see?
You're good, man. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, no. Oh. But it's not. Oh,
Yeah, I think your camera froze. Or there you are. Go ahead.
oh, my connection. I lost my connection.
That's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead and get back into the power.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Good morning again, Ajahn Brian. Today, our group will present our research on major factors that influence students to apply for MUIC. For this presentation, we will start with our research question and go through two extra articles, including educational value, how students choose university, evidence from an Italian university, and why university students choose an international education, a case study in Malaysia. Then we will analyze our research by telling methodology, results, discussions, and limitations, and end with the conclusion. Our research question is, why do students
You might want to share.
decide to choose MUIC?
You might want to share your screen one more time. It lost it when you had the problem.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
No problem. I do the same.
Okay. Okay now.
Okay.
Okay. So our research question is, why do students decide to choose MUIC for their higher education? Our aim is to find main factors that appeal students to apply for MUIC. But before we move to our study about MUIC, let's take a look at two different examples from Italy and Malaysia. Okay, the first interesting journal is Educational Value, How Students Choose University, Evidence from an Italian University. So what's happening in Italy is that new graduated high school students have become more attentive about their higher education because they tend to emphasize on their studies and achievement more than the image of the university. In other words, they see the quality and reputation of the faculty as main factors in decision making because they have an effect on their future and lives as a student. Moreover, this university is facing high competition from other Italian and European universities. So they need to change their marketing techniques to draw students' attention to pick their universities. That's why this study was conducted to identify students' perception towards the value of the university that affects their choice. The method that they use is observational study correlation because they try to find the relation between the value dimension and the value dimension and students of 12 faculties. They gather data by sending out survey that includes 4 parts of questionnaires, including background, the decision criteria, and students' expectation and perception. And the last one is the overall satisfaction toward the university. Around 1,200 students from 12 faculties of the University of Bali, which is one of the biggest campuses in Italy, participated in this survey. This study is considered to be, this study used random sampling, and it is stratified sampling because students were separated into categories based on 12 faculties. Additionally, from these 12 faculties, they were randomly sampled, and as the size of the sample was large, it can provide anonymous responses that were more accurate to investigate students' choice and perception. And since it is a random sampling, it can reduce bias that might be occur. As I already said that this study was analyzed to investigate the relation between the value dimension and students of 12 faculties. This is the table showing the result. So the result divided students from 12 faculties into 3 groups, including the leaders, the challengers, and the followers. So the first group, the leaders, refer to students of scientific faculties, biotechnologies, and humanities. These students gave strong responses to emotional and social value. In this case, it's about the sense of belonging to the university and university experience. Secondly, the challengers refer to students of pharmacy, agricultural sciences, educational sciences, and law. They're interested in price and quality and functional value. Otherwise, they see the worthiness of what they pay and get and the provided services and facilities. Lastly, the followers refer to students of foreign languages, economics, medicine, and veterinary medicine. These students gave negative response to all values, which means they didn't really care about factors that influence their decision making. So next one
Okay.
is okay. Marissa is here.
Another case study that we found interesting and it links to our topic is the interview of on the Malaysian education. The topic is why university students choose an international education, and this is a case study from Malaysia. Can you please move the next slide?
Okay.
Yeah, from the offshore campus on Australian University in Malaysia, they has become the main choice for the students since it offers an international programs. In 2005, more than 100,000 students were studying in this university. And the main purpose of this study is to identify student perspectives about significant reason attracting students to acquire international education. The main methodology that have been applied to this case study is the observation by interview two kind of students, which are Malaysians and also non-Malaysian. They also use the qualitative method. Next slide. And for the Malaysian student, during the interview, Malaysian students often mention the word like employment, outcome, large multinational corporation, and petroleum company, large organization, and opportunity. This is what we have found, like the keywords, what Malaysia students often mention about. And we conclude that it is believed that international education will greater their job opportunities to be employed by Western company in Malaysia. And for non-Malaysian students, they focus on self-transformative investment. They said the words like comfort zone, viewing the world, thinking, and skills. So these students tend to focus on self transformation. They think that international education will help step out of their comfort zone, improve themselves, and to define their new identity. And because of international education contributes some new aspects of exploring the world, thinking new way, and also enhancing their skills. So moving on to the result. Can you please change the slide? Yeah. For our research, it's focused on MUIC student and why the main factors that appeal MUIC students to apply in this university.
So for this part, our research on MUIC, we got inspired by the mentioned two articles. So the methodology, so the methodology for our research is observational study descriptive. We gather the data by sending out online survey to different groups of MUIC students, and thus this is considered to be non-random sampling, and it is in a convenience category because this survey was sent out to some groups of MUIC students we could reach. For our survey, we divided questionnaires into three parts. The first part is background. We use nominal measurement to categorize all participants. The second part is where participants required to give a scale of 0 to 5 to what they think is the most important factors in a list of five factors. And the last part is their opinion on MUIC. So based on ethical concept of Nuremberg and Belmont, we conducted this survey ethically because we respected all participants' decisions. To explain, before participants could access to the survey, we asked for their willingness to participate in this survey. After they agreed to be part of this survey, it means they consent to use their information. And because of that, they are voluntary and autonomous because they have ability to make their own decisions whether to participate or not. Furthermore, this study has no coercion, or no one was forced to answer the survey. So next is the result.
Starting with the background data of the participants, all the participants are MUIC students, and 7 from the first year student, 11 from second year, 13 from third year, and 8 students from fourth year. Next, please. And most of the participants who complete this survey is 27 female, 11 male, and 1 prefer not to say. Most of them are from Bangkok, and vicinity only 5 from other provinces and 2 from other countries. Next one. Most of the interviewees of this survey is majoring in the business administration and arts. And we also asked the interviewees to rate their opinion based on given statements that we provide. And by providing these questions, we can understand the main reasons of the participants, that why do they want to be in MUIC. The blue color represents first year student, red color is the second year, yellow is third year, and green is the fourth year student. The first graph on your left hand side compared to the second graph to the right, we can see that students give importance to their jobs opportunity more than concerning about the reputation of the university. And can you please move the slide? And the next graph is about teaching technique and university experience. We ask them to vote their importance. By seeing these graphs, we can see that students consider both teaching technique and also university experience are very important in the similar level. Next. And many interviewees, they pay less attention on influence from parents and friends comparing to the available information from the university. So most of the students have checked the information about this university before entering this MUIC. Next one. And surprisingly, for the question that asks, even if the tuition fee, yeah, can you move, please? Another slide. Yeah, even if the tuition fee are 50% higher than the current fee, will they still choose MUIC over another? And many students answer that participants are neutral with this question. Means it doesn't matter if the fee is higher or the fee is lower, they are neutral to pay for it. But what we have seen also, some participants strongly disagree about paying higher fees. Next one. Next slide. Yes, and this one we asked, will the participants suggest their relatives to study at MUIC? And many respondents said that they strongly agree to recommend their relative to apply in MUIC. Next one, please.
Okay, so this discussion part, I try to show the similarity and difference between MUIC, the result from MUIC and literature review. So the first factor is university experience. In this case, we have two participants who are foreign students, and both of them value university experience, which is similar to the study of Peavis and Chapman in 2007. That foreign students in Malaysia choose international education because of university experience. For the second factor, reputation and teaching quality are two of top three significant factors for MUIC students. This data measured typical students' perception and is identical to the study of Briggs and Wilson in 2007. They explained that even though many findings show several influential factors for students to choose a university, quality factors such as academic reputation and quality and quality of the faculty are still fundamentally crucial. And the third one is available information. It ranks number 2 from the bottom of 5 factors, which is dissimilar to the study of Briggs and Wilson in 2007, because they revealed that students actively seek information to help them in decision making. The fourth one is job opportunities. It is the most significant factor for MUIC students. Support by reason that study at a particular university can affect not only the next 3 or 4 years, but also a future career, claimed by Garnett, Morehouse, Walsh, and Berry in 2012. And the last factor is price. MUIC students are more sensitive to the change of tuition fee. As a result, 79% of students reveal that they will choose another university instead of MUIC if the tuition fee is 50% higher than the current fee. Compare this to the UK case. In the 2012 to 2013, students need to pay for 6,000 to 9,000 pounds for their education. Even though the tuition fee increased, the number of students attending the university also increased, because they see the faculty reputation of faculty and university as main factors for their decision making. Last part for our research is limitations. The first limitation is the size of our research is quite small. Like the size of our sample is quite small, so it can lead to more errors. The second limitation is the result of the research might not reflect actual students' perception, because students might not think carefully while answering questions. And the last limitation is the result might be inconsistent for long term, because students' perception can change anytime. This statement supported by the research of K in 2017 about reason that students choose to attend the university. The first generation was mainly influenced by family and the location of the university. But a new generation is more likely to focus on future career and may be more influenced by types of courses that provide greater chance in job after their graduation.
Thank you so much. We're kind of out of time. Yeah. Just a real short conclusion, if you would.
Yeah, come to conclusion.
Okay, to sum up, we show 3 research about why students choose to study at a particular university, and we explore 3 different studies, comparing them, including the study from Italy, Malaysia, and also Thailand, which is MUIC. And for the Italian university, they use observational study, correlation, and discover that students in each faculties were influenced by different factors to choose the university. But the research, it is the observational study case in Malaysia, show that Malaysian students and foreign students opted the international program for different reasons. Since Malaysian students use international program because of job opportunity, and on on the other hand, foreign students rather look for life experience in the university. Last but not least, the observational study descriptive in MUIC, we found that job opportunity is the most important thing for them. And
I think
yes,
we're good. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Wait a second on the references. Let me look real quick. And could you go back to your research question?
Research question.
Yeah, jump all the way to the beginning. Just jump right that way.
Research question up here.
Okay. And I guess take a couple of minutes for comments. The research question's good. The literature search is fine. I was waiting for the references. I'll have to rethink that one. The methodology, where did you get the survey from?
Online survey, like Google Form.
Yeah, but where did the questions come from?
Where did the question come from? From literature review also, and some of them we created.
Okay.
By
A little bit more explanation would have been nice. With the results, it would have been better if you'd have done a little bit better for statistics. You should have just calculated an average for the whole group. It was nice to see the first year, fourth year, but to present the information that way all the way through was kind of confusing. So that was a little bit of a difficulty. I do like your discussion and referring it back to the articles and stuff. That's well done for that.
Thank you.
And you guys did really good for the structure. For the presentation style, Subicha, I like your style quite a lot. The way that you present.
Thank you.
Your camera and stuff like that. Or Sarah, your camera's all screwed up, man. Your camera, you're looking like down on the table or something like that. And you need a little bit better lighting. And you kind of were late. I'm trying not to be angry about it, but I'll probably knock a little bit on the presentation because of that one as well. Okay. Sorry, I wanted to talk more, but let's go on to the next presentation. Done, man. The important thing is you're done. You can go on to your holiday. See you guys.
We can leave, right?
Whatever you want to do. Yeah, I'm paying attention to the students, so I'm focused on you guys presenting today. That's all I'm worrying about. See you guys.
See ya.
Where's Karen, Darren, Ken, Dan? Oh man, I got this mixed up. Why don't you guys go ahead and start sharing your. Let's see if we can catch up a little bit on time. You guys ready?
Yep.
Let's do it, man.
So good morning, and today we'll talk about our research. Main present research that we're going to do is effect on skincare on acne. So, as we know, acne is a common skin condition which like the pores of the skin becomes blocked, and it comes out as what you see on the left side of the left picture. It will come out and swollen, will develop into pimples, and usually it develops during puberty, where our hormones react and we have these pimples coming out. And here we're also going to talk about why skincare can help reduce acne. Next slide, please. So the first research we found it's called topical effectiveness of a cosmetic skincare treatment of acne prone. So in this research, they try to determine the effectiveness of the topical cosmetics, how it helped the skins for adults who have acne problem, and how like skincare helps reduce inflammation in the skin or the face, because that's also one cause of why we have pimples and all, because we have inflammation in our faces. So they investigate through questionnaires that were given by themselves, and the study group consists of 50 adult women between 18 and 35, and so in this research they also these women will apply the skincare product for 2 months, and they will twice a day for 2 months, and they'll be evaluated after 30 and 60 days. Next slide, please. So in their research, they also want to see the characteristics of the product and how skincare helps the face. So as you can see, they have the overall effectiveness against the acne, antimicrobial effectiveness, anti-seborrheic effectiveness, keratotic effectiveness, and hydrating capacity, cosmetic characteristics. So these are the characteristics they try to look in the skincare and how it does to our faces. Next slide, please. So after they conducted the experiment, this is the results. As you can see, for hopefully, so DO means is the starting of the day where they start the research. And as you said, on day 30, you can see that it has, from the forehead, it has reduced, and the number of inflammation in the forehead, the cheeks, and the chin by day 30 and day 60, it has slowly reduced. So it shows that skincare helps improve our face and also reduce the inflammation, as I mentioned before, to reduce the probabilities of acne. Next slide, please. And this is the second research we have, which is improvement of acne vulgaris by tropical foliar application, a unique impact on skincare. So in this study, acne vulgaris is, which I will show in the next slide, is basically a bunch of pimples all around where your face is red and you have pimples everywhere. And so when they did this study, they compromised 11 patients, 5 men and 6 women with this acne problem, and they range around 23 to 39, and the men's age was like 30 years old, and then so in this research they will apply, as you can see, these substance, 0.4 ml of 1% lipophil 14-15 gel base with 1% squalane and 0.5% of phenolcetanol. 49.25% ethyl gel base contain in glycerin and carbon sodium polycrylate and others as well to their face twice a day, day and night, and they were instructed to not apply it on the erosion or the area where has the information. Next slide, please. Another slide, please. Oh, back to the slide. Sorry. So here, as you can see, the results of the research, as you can see that the information, as I mentioned, is reduced after applying all those product, and from the first day, CE is at almost 1.5, and now has reduced at 8 weeks, is almost reduced to nothing. Next slide, please. So the next one, the next research is effects of skincare and makeup under the instruction of dermatologists, because so in this research, they mainly focus on how makeup can cause acne vulgaris. And as you can see on the right of the photo, that is acne vulgaris, which is like a bunch of pimples popping out. So in this research, patients were assigned into 2 groups. 25 patients receive conservation acne treatment with cosmetic instruction from their dermatologist, and another 25 I've received acne treatment without cosmetic instruction, which is group B. So the 2 groups were chosen randomly, and treatment was not altered in the studies. And after, so group A, they were instructed, they had instruction to have instructions from their dermatologist to how to use this cosmetic, while group B can use those cosmetics in their own way, how they feel, in any order they want, where it's just up to their feeling. So in this study, they also want to evaluate the quality of life of the patient before and after. And I'll be discussing about that later. Next slide, please. So after, go back. So this is after the, so this is the result, how the improvement of the rashes and acne. So group A, as you can see, there's not here, they have said that it's made improvements. There's 20%, and some of them are also unchanged, because depending on skin type as well and how your skin reacts, because some cosmetics maybe are not for you, so it also could affect this result. Next, please. So they also did because most skin disease are considered either like less severe and life-threatening to other organ diseases. However, because when you have acne, it affects your confidence, your self-conscious, because when you go out in public, you feel self-conscious about what people think. You felt disgusted and many more. And for others, maybe like people who have maybe mental problem like panic, when they can't handle the pressure, they go into a panic attack. So it really, like, skincare really helps you to help you feel more confident in yourself, knowing that your face is all right. Next slide, please.
So moving on to methodology. So for the research type, for this is observational research and specifically correlation, because we studied the relationship between using skincare and how it would affect acne. But why we would classify it as correlation? Because it does not classify, it does not classify the cause of acne. So for details, so what do we measure? We measure the correlations between skincare and acne, frequencies, how it would pop out, and severity. So who do we measure? So we measure bachelor degree students in MUIC, Mahidol University International College. For the survey, for this survey is a non-random sampling, specifically convenience sampling, because it is posted on both of our social medias, and we are posted on various club groups and posted on MUIC exclusive MUIC 368 line group, which is exclusive club for like first year student. For the questions, we will classify it as like, are you MUIC students to verify that information that we can use. So are you MUIC students? Which faculty are you from? Then we will dive on to the actual questions for research. Do you have a skincare routine? Do you use face wash, moisturizer, face mask, eye cream, toner, sunscreen, or exfoliator? How often do you do skincare routine? And do you think skincare routine everyone should have skincare routine? Do you think skincare is good for everyone? Causes of acne? How many times do you touch your face? How many times do you have breakout or pimples in a month? Glasses or water drink per day? How many hours do you normally sleep? And do you think skincare has a positive effects on acne or not? Then we move on to the interview. For the interview, I think interview is a random sampling. It's a cluster sampling because we began with designing whole interview, but unfortunately we decided to go with first year, second year, third year, since we just passed graduation ceremonies. It's really hard to us to find a fourth year students or in the upper class or that kind of sorts, because they're probably busy with doing their work and finish or like their thesis. And we set the number of interviews for each year. So we set it for 4 interviewees for each year. And we went to different places with different times across MUIC campus, new and old buildings. So this is the interview timetable. As you can see, they have different interviewees with different times, with different locations. For the locations, for example, for the interviewee number 1 is day 1, is actually Monday. Time is for 8:40 a.m. Location is 2nd floor, new building, and is a first year student. And you can it's just the same in order. So for the second day is a Tuesday. For example, number 7 is from 12:15, 3rd floor, new building, first year. Why we divide into 2 days? Actually, because most MUIC students study on Monday to Thursday, with Monday and Wednesday session and Tuesday to Thursday session. In order for me to conclude as much as we can and try to become more neutral and unbiased, we conclude 2 days, which is probably going to present the majority of MUIC students. So for interview questions, we begin with consent, and the interview will be used on my main project. So it will be confidential. If I record this, so I give them information that it will be my project and ask for the consent. So second is verification that he or she is MUIC students with, are you MUIC students? What is your major? And what year are you in? Since there can be some Thai program students from different departments come to MUIC as well. So we have to verify that first. then move and dive into further verifications for your major and what year you're in. But these are not classified as personal information because we do not ask their name, we do not ask their ID number. Then the actual questions is, how many glasses of water do you drink per day? How do you have skincare routine? If yes, can you describe it? If no, why? Do you think skincare has effect on acne or not? And do you think skincare is important or not? But because some interviews answer too short and a little bit unclear, I would ask for 12 questions, more further questions. For the first one, do you have skincare routine? If they answer too shortly or unclear, I would ask, do you have sunscreen? Do you use sunscreen or sun protections or use facial wash? Because there's still some misconception and misinformation that sunscreen and facial wash are not classified as skincare routine or skincare items. And for the second question is, do you think skincare is important or not? I would ask, should everyone have skincare routine? For the qualitative coding, this is from the interview. So we categorize it 3 categories. First is skincare, second is problems, and third is usefulness. For the skincare, there are skincare, exfoliator, cream, light cream, acne gel, facial wash, sunscreen, wash, take care, toner, essence, moisturizer, sleeping mask, face mask, gel, wipe, tissue, towel, apply, cleanser, and aloe vera. For the problems, we have 9 codes: acne, breakouts, inflammation, oily, allergy, doctor, medicine, hyperpigmentation, and scarring, which we will divide into 2 types. Is actually acne related type and others. The reason being is that acne, oily, breakout, inflammation, scarring, and hyperpigmentations are all related to acne in some way or another. But for medicines, allergy, and doctors, medicines can be used on almost every disease. And in this term can be applied to like other skin disease or skin conditions as well. And for allergy, it is true that it can cause acne by increased inflammations, but it's actually different categories. So we put into other. And for doctor or dermatologist, it just, we go to like have a health checkup. So it does not actually necessarily need to be related to acne. And for it, the last one is usefulness. It also have 9 codes: important, unnecessary, positive effects, necessary, younger, protect, depends, negative effects, and solution, which we divide into 3 subclasses, which is positive, neutral, and negative. Positive begin with important, protect, younger, help, necessary, solutions, and positive effects. And for neutral, there's depends and limit. What limit is actually, limit can be put in negative side as well. But since we think that limits can be present in very different ways. If, for example, if you use too little or use too much, can be present as struggles or problems. And if you use, and vice versa, if you use too much, it can pose as too beneficial as still problems. But it depends on how much usage you use and how you limit yourself to do so. And for the last one is negative, is unnecessary and negative effects. So for ethics, I think our research, our project is completely ethical because our interviewee consents to the review, interview record, and all the surveys are actually, they're actually okay with that as well. There's no coercion, there's no force for them to take. So no personal information asked, which you see later when which you already see that I already presented all the questions posed for the interviewees and for the people who take survey. And the questions do not connotate any discriminations or any negative aspects. For example, we do not questions them about, do you think skincare is for rich people or poor people? Do you think skincare is expensive or not? Because that would pose the connotations that, okay, if you use skincare, does mean you are rich or have people. If you not use skincare, so I mean you have no or little money. So we do not want to pose that problems. So there's no damage done since the surveys and interview purely focus on individuals' opinions and perspective. It's actually happened during the interview that some interviewees asked me, is it okay for me to answer no? And I answered right away that yes, you can answer whatever you want because it's autonomous, it's your right. You have your own right to decide what you want to say. And we would love to see variety with variety of the answer as well. So move on to the survey results. So far, the participants, there are 43 participants, but unfortunately, 3 of them are not MUSC students, so we're gonna exclude them from our survey. For departments, 19 for business, 7 for science, 5 travel and service business, 4 for international relations, 3 for intercultural studies and languages, 2 for communication design, which unfortunately we could not find people who like are studying in engineering or creative technologies. Do we have skincare routine? 80 around 80 to 83% or 33 out of 40 people say that they have skincare routine one way or another. So for skincare routine items, so as you can see, the most popular one is face wash, 32 people of 40, because the reason being is that I think the facial wash has been normalized for so long. It's kind of like you wash your body with soap. So it's the same thing, but the same logic as just applying on your face. And for moisturizer, it's 28 of 40. So we have to hydrate our skin. And there's sunscreen. And sunscreen is also a big measure. And I think there's still stereotypes and stigmatizations again for the skin for the sunscreen. And most people do not actually think that sunscreen is a skincare item, which I will explain later during my interview results. There's a toner, 19 for toner, 18 for face mask, 9 for eye cream, and 5 for exfoliator. For frequency, you can see here that I classify as a daily, once every 2 or 3 days, weekly, monthly, or does not care. So for 28 out of 40 is actually do apply daily, and 7 for every 2 or 3 days, and 1 monthly, and 2 does not care. And for the skincare is good for everyone is around 32 or 33% do believe that skincare is very beneficial for overall everyone. And causes of acne is surprisingly 39 or 40 or 98% of our participants know or don't or believe that they know causes of acne, but acne still pose as a major struggles for MUSC students. For confident, only 7 people disagree that skincare boosts their confidence, which is really surprising. So sleeping time, which I think is not very surprised at all, because we already know that 6 to 8 hours are recommended for each individual to sleep. So majority of the votes, 33 out of 40s, are actually sleep really well. But there's like some almost 50%, like 7 out of 40s who sleep too little or sleep too much, which can pose as problems. It affects your hormones and can promote acne as well. For face touching, again, very surprising, even though they believe that they know the cause of all acne. But there's like 30 of them, like 75% of people touch their face 4 more times in a daily basis. For breakout of pimples, so we classify by number of pimple occurred in a month. So only one student does not have pimple whatsoever, and for the majority, 20 out of 40 actually have 1 to 2 pimples or breakouts in a month, and 3 to 5 to 4 breakouts for 11 people, then 5 to 7 for 4 people, and more than 7 for 3 people. So water consumption. So as you can see here that still majority of the students still drinks too little or a little bit dehydrated, because 17 out of 40 people drinks only 4 to 6 glasses of water per day, which the recommendations is actually drink 8 glasses of water per day, which 1 glass is about 250 milliliter. And for point of view on aspect of skincare, do you think skincare has positive aspect on acne? 37 out of 40 students actually believe that there's actually have positive effects or on acne. So we move on to interview results. For the interview results, actually ask 4 questions. First, how many classes awarded per day? As you can see, it's really similar that 7 on 46 classes per day. The differences actually begin with 7 to 9 classes awarded per day. That in the research survey posed as there are a little bit more. They have more number, but I think this happened because of their pool, the size of the pool, because we only interviewed 12 people. So the second one is skincare routine. 75% of the interviewees have one way or another have skincare routine. And effects of skincare. So 6 of them believe that skincare has effect on acne, but there's like 3 ones. There are yes, no, and depends. No's are like have no effect, no effect whatsoever. They give the explanation that it really depends on each individual. Like different people have different skin texture, different skin type. So people might have oily skin, combination skin, or dry skin, and we have different genes. We have different immune system of what our body would react to certain ingredients. And for depends is actually the same explanation and classifications, only that they still leave some rooms for other people.
Gannon, I hate to interrupt you, but how many more slides you got?
Okay, so it's actually only 2 more slides.
Why don't you go ahead and jump to the conclusion?
For the conclusion, for most MURC students know what causes acne or stimulates acne, but however, they still have some sort of behavior that they do per day. For example, too little sleep, touching your face too often, and drinks too little water, which can present as like hormone fluctuation and promote sebum production. And also, most students believe that skincare is beneficial for acne, but there's still room for the improvement that they're probably gonna need more advanced skincare knowledge in order to improve their acne conditions. For example, active ingredients that my friend mentioned, and for the research too, that there are glycerin and other type of active ingredients, which there's active ingredient that is actually proven to be that can to treat acne. For example, salicylic acid, benzoyl peroxide, and retinoid. For less research, what we do with our research actually we should have deleted what do you have skincare routine in the survey, because people have different standard of skincare or what consider as skincare or what consider not to be skincare item, and we should insert more gender options like male, female, LGBT, and other to increase the complexity to our survey and our research. Then so we probably need bigger data pools, since there are some departments that are missing and 40 students that we do not conclude to our project. So that does not really represent the full MUAC community. So thank you. That's for our research, and this is references.
Wait, just a second. Keep it there. Keep it there. Keep it there.
Here?
No, on the references.
Okay.
Yay! Why don't you go back to the first part? Go back to the original, to slide 1.
Original?
Yeah, why don't you just jump from slide 30? Yeah, click that. Jump from slide 53 to slide 1. No, over there. Click that and go to slide 1. Just scroll all the way up. Where's your research question?
So research questions actually about effects of skin. So effects of skincare on acne. Yeah.
Where's your research question? Where's that?
So
go to the next slide. I don't see it still.
Yeah. So
you're missing a question, guy. I want it worded as a question, and I want you to limit it to the MUIC. So that's one of the holes that you had a little bit.
Okay.
The other one is you didn't do an introduction. You remember in the introduction, I want you to tell me these are the 3 things we're talking about today. You guys kind of forgot that one completely. Okay. Why don't you go to the literature search?
Sorry, pardon?
Go ahead and go to the literature search. Just a sec.
Like there's no literature
The
because
detail in it's pretty good. The issue is I can't tell if this is observational or experiment. And you need to kind of make that clear. You remember?
yeah.
So
So
that's
for
off for this one. Uh-huh.
so for it, I would object, not object, like we still put in correlation because we does not mention that the acne is actually caused by P acne because touching your face actually not a cause of acne, not direct cause of acne is actually a way to stimulate that, but like it does not scientific, it does not say that okay if your face is gonna have more acne.
The
So
articles are fine. The issue is I want you to highlight, is this observational? Is this an experiment? If it's observational, what type it is. If it's an experiment, what type it is. For this one, I didn't see it on that one. Go to the next article. Keep going, keep going, keep going. The detail is really nice, but that's what you're missing on this one. I think that's the second article or not?
yeah, it's the second article.
The second article, the detail's in there, but I have to read it myself. I can kind of see that you got experiment going on, but when you guys present it, I don't hear it's an experiment with a control doing this, an experiment doing this. This is basically just the article again, okay? And it's good detail, but once again, that's the part that's missing. Once you go to your method.
Sorry, pardon?
Go to your methodology, your method. Your method. I liked it. I liked it. I thought you guys did a really good job. I don't agree that this is correlation, but I'm not going to beat up on you too much about it. For correlation, you should do the statistics to kind of show that something relates to another thing. And you kind of did it just by just talking it through. So I think this better fits a descriptive, okay? But I like the detail. I like how you guys did qualitative data. The coding's awesome. And what's really interesting is there's lots of research in acne, but the way that you guys did it, it kind of follows what fits the research anyway. So I think the methodology, you guys are spot on for this. I think you did a really good job for this. For the results. Yeah, I love where you told me what the interview questions are and all the rest of it. I really like all of that. For the results, you actually started the results in the slides before where you're talking about what you coded. That's part of your results, right? And I think you have a huge amount of information. You did the qualitative and then you also did quantitative on here. So you're like, wow, man, wow. There's a huge amount here. It's just awesome. So I think you guys did really excellent for the method and the results. And I think I better quit talking because I'll just keep talking more. For the way that you present, Gannon, I like the way that you present. I'm not sure, sometimes you're a little bit distracting the way you read and stuff, but it looks fine. And Darren, you're reading too much, man. You're reading too much. I like watching you present and stuff, but you're kind of going from a script way too much a little bit. Okay, guy?
Yeah.
That's okay. We're done, man. Done. Where's my next group? Nice to see you, Darren. Nice to see you guys. This is like getting to hang out with you because I teach to you all the time, but I don't get to see you guys. Done. Thanks, guys.
See you, sir.
My group. We're a little bit off on time. Sorry about this, guys.
It's all right, sir.
Where's the Ferris and Gareth, man? Oh man, I'm really messing your meeting up today.
Yes, I know.
No worries, sir. It's all good. Should we start now?
Oh, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Okay. Can you see the slide?
It's a coming. Go ahead, man.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Today, Gareth and I will be presenting on our research, which is on the correlation of sleep and productivity within the MUIC community. We'd like to begin by talking about the contents that we'll be sharing today. So first, we'll be talking about our introduction, then we'll be talking about our methodology, our three-part results, our conclusions, and then we'll finish off by discussing the limitations that we have found while conducting research. So for introduction, we'd like to discuss the purpose of the study. So as I said in the beginning, we were trying to figure out if there's any correlation between sleep and productivity, meaning that we want to figure out if whether productivity increases with the increase of sleep. And while thinking of the purpose, we had very specific questions in mind, which I would like to discuss now. These questions were which departments in MUIC get the most sleep, whether there were any correlations to sleep and schoolwork productivity, whether there are any other factors that hinder sleep besides work and stress, and the quality of sleep for MUIC students of different departments. And while we had these questions in mind, we also conducted our literature search, and we found various articles. But for the sake of the time limit, we'll be briefly going through articles that we found. So the first one is titled "Improving Educational Productivity," and it is a correlational observation because the researcher had studied the analysis of various results to find the ways to improve educational productivity, and they had also listed several factors that contribute to a higher educational productivity, such as psychological processing and the time they had received the information. And for our second article, it is titled "Negative Consequences of Sleep Deprivation," and although it does not show the methodology it used, we believe that it is a descriptive observation because it had studied in depth the trends of the consequences of sleep deprivation. And the line that you can see on the slide right now, we took it from the conclusion because we feel that it accurately represents the nature of the study. So for our methodology, we had used a correlational observation because we feel that to study sleep and productivity, this method would be the best way to study its relationship, to study its factors. So what we did was that we had developed a 20-item survey, which consisted of short answers, multiple choices, and a 5-point scale that you can see on the slide currently. And to get the results for our purpose, we had decided to split the survey into 3 parts. So the first part we asked about regarding general questions such as age, sex, and department. And for the second and third, we went more specific, more in-depth regarding sleep and productivity. And while we were developing the survey, we had done a very small scale pilot study, and we made sure that the newly revised and developed survey did not have the loopholes of the first survey that we had made, but because we managed to review our survey from multiple sources. So for our sampling, we did a convenience sampling, which is a non-random method of sampling, in a sense that it does not allow an equal chance of everyone to participate, because this study is strictly limited to the MUIC community. So what we did was that we sent our survey throughout various groups of the MUIC community and departmental groups as well, such as social sciences and tourism, for instance. And we had managed to garner about 32 participants based on the survey. I added an asterisk on the 32 participants, and I'll be discussing that later at the end of our presentation. And while we were doing the sampling and the development of the survey, we had also thought about the ethics in mind. And we believe that this method gives the ability for respondents to opt out whenever they please, because if they decide to answer a survey, it automatically means that they have given us consent. And we had also devised the questions in a way that is not, where everything is not required, meaning that they have the autonomous ability to choose which questions they wish to answer and which questions they wish not to answer. When it comes to data analysis, after we had gotten our data, we analyzed our quantitative data on most popular, on highest voting, and the data that we found were most common. I'll now give the floor to Gareth to present on the results.
Thank you. So I'll be briefly going over each question that we have asked. Once again, as Farah stated, it's going to be a 3-part result survey. So first, we're going to start with general, then go more in depth to sleep and productivity. Once again, we will see either a dip or an increase in answers between questions. This is because all questions were voluntary and we didn't get full 32 responses for each question. So to get started, the first part for the results, which is general, we ask questions revolving around department, demographics, what time do they usually wake up, what time do they fall asleep, and how many hours of sleep do they get per day. So for department, the highest participating departments were the social sciences and business administration. Coming in a close third was fine and applied arts, then sciences, tourism and hospitality, and humanities. Demographic age range, Because we are first year students and we mainly had access to first and second year groups and chats, we can see the age range between 17 and 20, with the middle area and most participants being around the age of 18 and 19. For the demographics, we got 23 females and 8 males in total. We proceeded to ask the students in the survey what time do they usually wake up. For here, we organized the questions from most popular to least popular. As we can see, most popular with 6 respondents being 9 a.m. It then goes down to 6 a.m. with 3 respondents. And then the third question was a variety, so it differs day to day basically, from 6:30 to 12 a.m. What time do the students usually fall asleep? Here, there was a large range of different answers, ranging all the way from 6 to 7 p.m. Into 1 and 3 a.m. in the early mornings of the next day. However, we organized it into the most common answers, being 1 a.m. was the most average time for the students to go to sleep. And coming in a close second was 12:30 a.m. So we put this range between 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. was the most common sleeping time. How many hours of sleep do you average per day? This was actually one of our more interesting questions because studies have shown that students need 8 hours of sleep a day in order to be productive. It can be more than 8 hours of sleep a day as well. And as we can see here, the majority of the students did answer that they have 8 hours of sleep, some answering 6 hours and 7 hours. However, this is still a really good hourly range for students to be getting. So that was really impressive to see. So now we'll go into part 2 of our results. These questions will be more sleep-based and based around the concept of the sleeping patterns of the MUIC students. So for here, we ask general questions such as, could you describe various factors that affect your sleep? Do you usually feel rested when you wake up? How would you describe your quality of sleep in general? And then we also have comment boxes for the students to further input their comments so that we can get more detailed results. Are they satisfied with their sleeping quality? Do you usually wake up at night? This was a 2-part question over here. So if the students answered yes, they then had the opportunity to type in a type box as well, so we can get a more detailed representation of how they wake up and when they go back to sleep. And then, yeah, what time do you usually fall asleep again? So could you describe the various factors that affect your sleep? For here, we organize the questions once again from most to least popular. First is a big obvious, which is technology and social media between the MUIC student groups. This includes factors ranging all the way from playing video games, watching Netflix, to just being on mobile devices throughout the evening, which has been shown to keep students up and delay sleeping patterns. Second being assignments, because they're all university students, many have assignments that they're trying to complete for the next day, and their pattern gets destroyed by that. And then third is stress. Do the students usually feel well rested when they wake up? Most of the students did answer they get 8 hours of sleep, so they should be saying that they do feel well rested when they wake up in general. However, here it changes from day to day. This could be because the sleeping patterns of all the students are really inconsistent and they don't have a certain sleeping pattern. This could also be because of the workload that the students are receiving, and it differs day to day. And then coming in a close second is no, they don't feel well rested. So for here, we generalize that either it changes from day to day or in general, they aren't feeling too well rested when they wake up. How would you describe your quality of sleep in general? As you can see here, we've got a 1 to 5 point scale, 1 being a negative and 5 being a positive. So in this case, how would you describe the quality of your sleep in general? 1 would be the quality is really bad, and 5, they are really impressed with their quality of sleep. Here we hit just in the center, with the students hitting the average of 8 hours per day. This wasn't too surprising to see. They described their quality of sleep to be pretty mediocre to satisfied with their sleep. After that question, we then proceeded to put a text box where the students can write their own comments and what they thought about their quality of sleep. So here, are there any further comments you have on your sleep quality? Most common answer was big obvious, which is go to bed sooner, which many students aren't able to do and they don't remember to do. Second is manage stress levels. This included forms such as going to the gym, meditating, and just exercising in general or freeing their mind. And third, turn off cell phones and technological devices in order to not disrupt your rapid eye movement when you go to sleep. Are you satisfied with your sleeping quality and pattern? Once again, a 1 to 5 range, 1 being the negative. So here we can see in general, most students were in the center, ranging all the way down to the negative. So they didn't seem too satisfied with their sleeping quality and patterns, as many of them, as we can see in all the previous results, have a very inconsistent sleeping pattern. Do you usually wake up at night? Many students did say yes, they wake up at night, ranging between the 1 and 2 range again, which that's impressive to see as well. On average, the students answered that they wake up 1 time per night, many going into 2 as well, which we'll see further on later. Next. Here we go. If yes, how many times do you usually wake up in the middle of the night? For here, we've got 9 students answering they wake up once per night, which is a general amount of times to wake up in the night if you do. Then we got 7 students saying 2 times, and then we got a student answering 3 times during the night. The rest of the students who did not answer stated that they do not wake up throughout the night. If you do wake up, what time do you usually fall asleep again? Once again, this question is only based around the students who did wake up throughout the night. The most common answer was 5 minutes after waking up. The students tended to fall asleep again, which is once again an average range and pretty general for people who wake up to do. The second, which is more concerning, is they only fall asleep a couple of hours after waking up. Seen as the students' range of going to bed was 1 a.m. If they wake up and then only go to sleep a couple of hours after waking up, this tells us that they don't get much sleep at all and that they do have to wake up really close to when their classes start for their university days. And then third, they're unable to go back to sleep and they stay awake throughout the night in between a form of being fully asleep and being awake. Now for our last part of our results, productivity-based questions. What is educational productivity to them? This part was more open-based for them to answer what they thought, as many have different definition of what productivity is. So we wanted to go more in depth with that. Are they able to complete tasks within the deadline? What are other factors that can contribute to increased productivity? Do they feel sleepy and lose focus during class? How many hours do they invest in their work, and does sleeping behavior affect their studies?
So for this question, we thought it would be unfair if we measured the students' productivity based on our standards of productivity. So for the sake of this entire section, we had asked them to define what productivity meant to them. And later we came to a consensus and we had used their answers and had come to a definition of what productivity is. So most have responded that productivity is is being productive with and proper management with the workload given. Some had agreed that productivity is being able to work with the deadline given. And some had suggested that educational productivity is the ability to stay alert and to absorb knowledge during class, to stay on top of that class. So the definition that we had thought of was that educational productivity is the ability to remain prudent with the workload given, as well as a deadline in mind, to effectively understand lessons in order to excel for the future ahead.
So what are factors that can contribute to an increased productivity? This was an open-based question for the students to type what they wanted. Number 1 being time management, better sleep patterns. Here we started to see that they were really unhappy with their patterns of sleep and avoid procrastination, and they wanted to just get to their work. Second, value the quality of work and concentrate in class. If the work isn't valued, they're not going to be able to be too productive and concentrate. And third, avoid drugs, sugary drinks, and drink more coffee. Here by drugs, we're not talking about methamphetamines. We're talking about drugs such as ADHD medication, concentration medication, and sleeping pills. Are you able to complete tasks within deadline? This was an impressive answer where many thought yes, they are able. And then 1 or 2 students answering sometimes, and it depends day to day. Do you usually feel sleepy and lose focus in class? Here we had a big difference in answers. This was one of our biggest gaps in our questions. 46.9% students replied yes, they do feel sleepy and lose focus during class, and a mere 28.1% said no. The remaining students said depends, but here we can obviously see that most students do in general feel sleepy and lose focus in class. Next. Oh, sorry, back. Do you generally feel sleepy and lose focus in class? Here's a second part to the first question. These factors, as described in the first slide for productivity, depended on drugs, teaching style, and interest. Drugs such as focusing medication, which many students have to take. Teaching style, are the teachers being boring or catching the interest of the students? And are the students overall interested in the class they are taking? If not, they're going to generally tend to lose focus. A student further also reported saying that online classes affect them drastically, and that's a different part that we'll talk about. Does sleeping behavior affect your studies? Once again, these students, as we can see, have been very inconsistent with their sleeping patterns and don't have a general consensus on their sleep. So here we got the most answers being sometimes. Coming in a close second was yes, they cannot study. And then third was no, it's fine. So in general, it changed day to day, or they cannot study because sleeping behavior did affect it.
Now we'll be discussing the research questions that we had discussed earlier in the beginning. So our first question was, which departments in MUIC get the most sleep? And based on our research and analysis, we have ascertained that the department which had garnered the most sleep were business administration and social sciences at 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Coming second, we had humanities and tourism, but there's an asterisk next to it, which I would like to address as well at the end of the presentation. And the department with the least amount of sleep is fine and applied arts and sciences at 5 to 6 hours. We had figured out that there was also no correlation with the time the respondents slept and the amount of sleep that they had gotten, because there was a general consensus that they slept around the same time, but it seems to be that there is quite a disparity between the amount of sleep that each department has obtained. When we had asked the factors that affected their sleep, the departments with the lowest amount of sleep had responded with stress and departmental workload, strictly stress and departmental workload. But when we had asked the departments with the highest amount of sleep, they had responded with stress and workload, as well as several other factors, which is a segue to our next question, which is, are there any other factors that can hinder sleep besides work and stress? So we had figured out that, yes, there were other factors such as smartphone usage, Netflix, the mood of the participant, how they use their energy, as well as sounds. But the interesting observation that we'd like to note is that the departments with the lowest amount of sleeps had only stated stress and workload, nothing else besides that. And our next question is, we're wondering how the quality of sleep for MUIC students of the different departments are. And most have reported a 4 on the 5-point scale when we had asked on their quality, even the departments with the lowest amount of sleep. But when we had asked specifically regarding sleep satisfaction, the Fine and Applied Arts department had reported to have the lowest amount of satisfaction, despite answering a 4 regarding the quality. When we had asked, another question that we were wondering is there any correlation to sleep and schoolwork productivity? So based on their definition, the majority have stated that yes, they are able to finish their work within the deadline given, even departments with the lowest amount of sleep, like Fine and Applied Arts, for instance. But when we had asked if they had lost focus in class, the answers here started to vary. So to conclude our research, sleeping issues can affect classroom productivity, but when it strictly comes to producing work, a lack of sleep does not necessarily affect students' production, and students can somehow manage to produce within the deadline limit. But of course, to have more sleep and to have better time management would link to better productivity. Now we'd like to discuss the limitations that we found during our research. So the asterisk that we have seen throughout this presentation refers to the major issue that we found while conducting our research, which was that it is very small scale because we managed to get about 32 participants. And this is an issue because we believe that it may not be representative enough because the humanities department, only one person replied to our survey. So we feel that their results are not representative enough of their department. So if there are any future presentations or researches, we would advise them to have a much higher sample than what we have. And another issue that we found was that these results were very subjective, meaning that it was based on the respondents' answers. And this is quite a difficult assessment on our part to assess its validity, whether it's accurate to real life, because it's subjective and there's nothing to measure or compare them against. And a way we feel to reduce this issue directly links to the third limitation, which was that there was a time constraint. If we had a much longer time period, let's say if the research can span out to about 3 to 4 years, we could perhaps study a single student and the different dips in their quality through a longitudinal observation. But it is a very minor issue, however. But the most major one that we found was that it was very small scale. And with that in mind, we'd like to formally conclude our research. The next slide is just our references. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Why don't you go ahead back to slide one real
Slide
quick.
one. Ugh.
And you do it the hard way. There we go. I've had many sleep projects. I think this is the better one that I've seen so far. I enjoyed what you
Thank you,
guys
sir.
did.
Thank you.
Why don't you go to, I love the structure. You did a very good job at the beginning of it, and then you reinforced it on that third slide, right?
Yes, sir.
Usually I want to see it one more time in the conclusion, but you guys did so strong on that one. I thought you did very good on that one. The research question. I want one research
Oh,
question.
just one.
I don't mind if you have sub
Okay.
ones like that, but I want the main research question. So that's what you
I
guys
see.
messed up. I kind of was going to give you a lower grade for this one, but you guys did a really good job of connecting each research question to each topic. That's actually how you do it in a scientific paper. So I dinged you a little bit on that one, but not
Thank you,
too
sir.
much. Okay. The issue that you had was the literature part. Go to that one. Go to the next
Next
slide.
one?
You guys need to go in a lot more
Okay.
detail. You kind of jumped through this one too quick.
Okay.
I don't see the research method.
For
I don't see the sample
for
size. I don't see
for our
anything.
second article, it didn't really specify the methodology, so we just assumed.
You should have picked a different article.
Oh,
Yeah, I want you to, that I kept emphasizing. I know there's articles that explain things, right? And that was one of those articles. I want you to one that shows you what I'm teaching in
Okay.
class. So that was your weakness for that one. Those two articles, you just kind of, I'm done, next. So a little bit more time
Alright,
on that
sir.
one, okay? For the methodology, go ahead and go that section.
methodology.
I thought you did pretty good on this one. Where did the survey come from?
The survey? We
Yeah, where
we
did
had
it come
developed it ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And we'd also like
You didn't pilot test it? You didn't test it? You
we
didn't add
we
to it?
conducted like
Go
a
away
very
from it?
small
Indeed.
pilot survey though. We asked various people to rate our survey and to see if there were any other
That's
loopholes.
what you were missing. Yeah, you need to talk. If you do it yourself, you have to talk about how you developed it and how you scaled it and how you made sure that the questions worked,
Oh, okay.
didn't work and stuff. Because I know you guys asked me to fill it out a couple of times.
Yeah.
So I know you did something, but when you present it, you didn't say that something.
Okay.
So that was the gap in that one.
Okay.
I do like that you show me the survey. I like that you broke down the structure of it. Maybe next slide, see what's on that one. You do got, oh, I do. You got convenience sampling. You talked about research method or not? I think you did, but let's go
Research
back.
method. It was this one, observational.
Yeah, you had it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's really a correlation study again.
Okay.
The way that you're doing it, you're not mathematically trying to say there's a relationship or not, right?
Right. Right.
You're just trying to you're making a connection, but you're doing it yourself. You're not really doing it mathematically, or you're not, right?
Right. Right.
So this would be another one like the last one that I looked at. That is probably not, it's more descriptional.
Okay.
And maybe go down another slide.
Down another slide.
Pass to slide 10, maybe.
Slide 10.
I like the data. I like this part. Go to the next one. Okay. And yeah, your methodology may be a little bit more to it. A little bit of exploration, how you developed it and stuff, and where the questions came from. For the results, I like it a lot. You got a lot of results. And I like the demographics. I like the graphs. You had a little problem struggling with some of the statistics, but that's okay. This is not a statistics class anyway. So I thought you did excellent for the results part. For how you guys presented, both of you guys are good presenters. Both of you need to put more energy into presenting, because you guys are kind of like, hi, how are you? What are you doing? If you put like a little bit more excitement into it, it'll come across better. For Ferris,
Okay.
you kind of, at some points, you kind of went to reading a bit.
Oh, right.
Most of it, you kind of talked on your own, so it's okay. But some of it, you kind of went into drone mode and just kind of read it back on the slides. Try not to do that if you can, but I thought you guys did pretty good on presentation. And
Thank you,
done.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir.
And who's up? Now you can have a good life, right?
I think it's us next, right?
If you don't mind, let me give you a minute or two. I want to go to the restroom real quick, man. I'm drinking too much tea. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay.
ฮัลโหลได้ยินเสียงลมปะ
ไม่ได้ยินนะ
โอเค
ปั๊บจะพูดส่วนไหนบ้างเนี่ย
ก็กูพูดถึงสไลด์ก็จนกว่าที่ของกูทำอ่ะที่เหลือก็ของมึงอ่ะโอเคปะ
And I'm back, man.
Hey,
I'm ready. You guys?
Hello, can you see me?
Oh yeah, I like it.
ไม่ได้เปิดไมค์
Is the lighting okay for my camera, John?
ได้แหละก็ว่าได้แหละ
Let's do it, guys.
นะครับมันจะเริ่มมันปะ
Alright, so for today, Alright, so for today we would be talking about the alcohol consumption for MUIC students. So my name is Boss, 5980990.
And my name is Josh, 6380132.
So firstly, we would go to the outline. So we would talk about the introduction, then we'll figure out the method and then the results, and lastly, conclude what we did overall. So firstly, why use this topic? So the research question that alcohol MUIC student drink. So the idea come up because we knew that the Mahidol is the #1 ranking in Thailand. So, and by knowing that binge drinking harms our body, so we would like to know, does MUIC drink as much as other colleges? So we will compare the alcohol consumption between MUIC colleges. So as for our method, so the method, we would find out the amount of drinks MUIC students consume and by the other college students. So by comparing, we would do convenience sampling for our survey, and then it would be an observational study about survey for MUIC students only. So what we did was that we share our survey through 2 applications, which is Instagram and Loop. And our feedback is that we got only 1 responses, which actually I thought I would get like 100 or more. And for a while, the other college students would find from researchers, literature, Google Scholar, and reliable websites. Next slide. So this would be the results from the MUIC students. So we asked their sex, which is separated into 3, which is the LGBTQ, the male and female. And these are the numbers above with the chart. Next. The next slide would be the frequency and the age. So as we see, to be legal in Thailand must be 20, but then from our data, we knew that there are ages where they didn't mind drinking illegally. Next slide. That's out for our surveys that we knew that MUIC students in 1 week, the most people they drink per week is 1 day, which is 22, and their team never drinks. So we also asked in the survey why they drank alcohol, and these are the results. So firstly, to hang out with friends, we got 66.7. They have nothing to do, 33.3, and being drunk helps them forget the pain. I don't know, maybe heartbroken and stuff. That would be 15.6%. So this is the results we compared with the other college student. And from the Journal of American College of Cardiology, we found out that 300,000 people in the US would have reduced cardiovascular, and the mortality rates would be less severe when compared to heavy drinkers. And with heavy drinkers, or as we call it, binge drinkers, have the highest causes of cancer death rates. And the other study we found is the Danish observational study, says that by drinking 14 for men and 9 for women per week helps to reduce the risk of getting diabetes, which we can separate it into 3 to 4 weeks. The other result is that the frequency of binge drinking actually causes higher injury rates on college campus. So in one time, so on one occasion, 5 for male and 4 for female, drinking alcohol would cause them 3 times more likely to be injured compared to non-drinkers.
And comparing data sets to the BMC Public Health, we found that younger participants are more likely to drink more heavily than older participants. For example, like 20 odd glasses of beer or like 2 bottles of alcohol. And then 15% of participants are excessive drinkers, while in our MUIC database data set, the students, 25% of students are excessive drinkers, 20 plus glasses. Our research limitations are false data. There are some false data like age and why they went out drinking or where they went out drinking. And lockdown was we weren't able to send out our data or our survey to a lot of people. We weren't able to also go and talk and interview people. Researcher's bias is me asking my friends to do the survey, but it only narrows down the search so much and it doesn't broad out, causing the data to be biased. So in conclusion,
Basically, in conclusion, we found out that the results for MUC students is that it might be biased because since we both asked our friends for the survey, since we're both MUIC student and our friend is MUIC student, they didn't think we were serious about it, maybe, and we get maybe not an accurate answer because in the survey I saw someone write their age is 69, so pretty much tells it is pretty biased. And for our method, we use the observational study and the survey, which is the convenience sampling. And that's pretty much it. The rest is the other slide is the reference from our research. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay. Let's start back to the top, if you would, please. Go to the, yeah, the introduction is okay. Go to the introduction on slide 2. You got an introduction about your, it would be nice if you had the same for the conclusion, but this is nice here. Go ahead and go to your research question. How much alcohol MUIC students drink? That works fine. You limit it to MUIC and it's very clear about what you're asking. The literature search is where your weakness is. You didn't do a literature. You didn't present 2 articles and go into depth about the research method and stuff for those articles, did you? You guys kind of missed a part. So that's the big weakness for your presentation. You didn't do the literature search part, okay? I was waiting for it. When you jump to method, I'm like, what, huh? Why don't you go ahead and do your methodology? And let me look through this a little bit again, because I was looking for the literature search when I was grading this. You got, what's the research method?
The research measure is
What's your research method?
the observational study for the survey.
And what type of observational study?
It's the convenience sampling.
Yeah, that's the sampling, but what type of observational study? Is it descriptive? Is it correlation? Is it a case study?
It's a case study because we can't really find the correlation because since they have bias too from our friends.
Yeah, for me, that's why I want you, the thing I'm teaching you throughout the whole term, I want to see the same thing in your methodology, okay? So you got observation, but you forgot to say if it's descriptive, correlation, or case, okay? And then convenience sampling's there. And how big was your sample?
51.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. I see it down below. And what questions did you ask?
It's in the result. We asked their gender, their amount of drinks, their age, how much they drink per day.
Yeah,
It's all in the
that should have
result.
been in. It would have been better if you'd explained where the questions came from, how you developed. Where did they come from? Where did you find these questions?
I'm sorry.
Where did these questions come from? Did you find it from a journal article? Did you guys make it up on your own, or where?
We just found it on another article and then we copy and pasted it. Oh, well.
Yeah, it would have been better to say all of that and what article you came from. Yeah, you guys kind of missed that step a little bit. Okay.
Because there's like 2 to 3 articles that acts like something similar to this, so we didn't really like assume that we should be giving the article as an example, because there's so many articles that act the same as we do. So
yeah, it would be nice if you'd have presented it, you'd have got a little bit higher for the literature search. That's what I wanted you guys to do, is go find articles that relate to that, talk about their method. And then of course, I don't have a problem if you borrow a survey from them, but you have to tell me where it comes from. You have to tell me where the citation is and stuff. Okay. So you guys kind of messed that up a bit. Let's go down to the results. The results, how come you did LGBTQ? What does that mean?
Transgenders and stuff, like
So
not male and female.
You're saying they're neither male or female, or what?
They're like gays, lesbians, bi.
You're saying they're not male or female? They're outside of those? The thing about doing a survey this way, I know it's popular right now, but if you say 5 people that you don't know what they are, it's worthless. It's better to just ask male and female. And if they don't want to respond, just don't let them respond. Or if they decide that there's some other way, that's okay. If that's what you're looking at, if you're looking at gays that drink, or if you're looking at lesbians that drink, you want to measure that, then that's not a problem. But if you ask like this one, I know it's popular right now, but it gives you absolutely no information at all for that one. Why don't you go to the next one? I think you guys finished your data a little bit late, right? Once again, you guys got categories 16 to 17, 18 to 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I think I said, was it on your test or the other test? Why do you not do this? Why do you not put these in nominal categories? The reason is you can get much better data if you just ask for their age, right? There's nothing really confidential about asking that. So you get better information if you just ask them what's your age and not just put them in categories like this. Okay. The next one. Yeah, this works okay. Keep going. It's interesting stuff. Where did the reasons come from? Did they write them or what?
Some of them put rights too, like they write it in the other options.
Was this a choice or not a choice, or this was all written essay or what?
It's an open question.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it'd been nicer.
So like we kind of concluded.
Yeah, a little bit more explanation of how you did this and where this came from would be helpful. Keep going. And I like where you're comparing it to the results, but it would have been great if you'd have taken one of these articles and presented them. That's why I was wanting for the literature search. You're killing me, man. You're killing me on that part. What you came up with is interesting. I like the results. I like the limitation. I like that part. So for the results, I think you're doing fine. There's a few flaws in it, but not that bad. For the way that you guys presented, Tara, you see your camera? You see what you look like? You kind of need your whole face. You need to back up a little bit. I know you're using your phone or your iPad, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll think about it. I'll give you a little bit higher than I was thinking of. I like it because you didn't read from a script, right? You pretty much present it naturally. So I like that part, but your face is like a really big floating face. If you take your camera back a little bit, that would have been a much better angle. For Josh, I like the way that I like the background. You got nice setup and everything else. So I was going to give you a little bit lower grade for the presentation, but maybe I'll give it the same as Josh, just not to beat up on you too much. Because you guys, I did like that you didn't read it all. Done, man. Done. And I'm catching up on time. Oh yeah. I'm good, man. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Nachko nag perinya and patia. Hey guys, you scared me.
I'm here, Don.
Okay. You got a few minutes to get ready. I just got caught up for time, so I was all excited, and you guys disappeared on me like, what? You guys ready?
Yes.
Oh, you're waiting, man. Come on, man. Come on. It's time.
Pauline chair.
เห็นแล้วใช่ไหม
Okay.
ครับ should we start?
Oh, let's do it, guy. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, good morning, teacher and friends. Today our topic is called a print book or versus ebooks. And our topics, our contents consists of 7 main topics, which are introduction, research question, literature review, methodology, survey question, difficulty and analysis and results. And as we are now living in the developing and technological world, technology is coming to many aspects, including education. And many schools use electronic function for teaching students. So it helps many part of teaching, such as listening, writing, or reading comprehension. And to be more specific, reading comprehension use both ebook and paper book. Generally, students read on the paper book, but ebooks also step in to make it more convenient for reading. Okay, therefore our research question is print books or ebook, what is a better tool for reading comprehension skills of music students? And our purpose of this research is to find out whether print books or ebooks help students in study skills, especially reading comprehension. For the literature review, we provide 2 journals which are related to our topics. And for the first one is a note or a book comparing college student reading comprehension levels, critical reading, and study skill by Shuka and Preni from Westchester University of Pennsylvania. And their study is to compare reading comprehension. Oh, sorry, John. Okay. To compare reading comprehension, critical reading, and use of study skill between students who read e-text on e-readers or another group who read with the paper text. For the method, they use 30 students enrolled in general education composition courses, and all of them were volunteers. They had to do pre and post survey, and there were 4 in-class quick writing assignment on the reading. And this correct about student familiarity with e-readers and their technology and reading habits. Okay, and they also use independent t-test and repeat measure and WAS to analyze 3 aspects of student comprehension of on the 4 prompts. For the first one is the number of idea units from the text that they include in their response. And next is the number of supporting detail they use to support their idea units. And it's the general holistic level of comprehension of their response. And the first prompt was used as a control to gauge our student comprehension when reading from traditional text. And we found no statistically significant differences in student number of idea units recall or the level of supporting detail they provide for either groups, as we can see from the table. However, the Nook group had a higher level of comprehension in the control prompts, and the second, third, and fourth prompts were designed to assess whether students' comprehension differ when they read a text in ebooks instead of reading from a traditional text. There were no statistically significant differences in the way students read from the Nook and from the traditional text. What they read in terms of the number of idea unit recall and the number of supporting details they provide and the level of comprehension which they demonstrate in their response for these 3 prompts. And another journal is a comparison reading comprehension across paper, computer screen, and tablets. Thus, tablet familiarity matter from the Journal of Computer in Education. These experiments focus on investigating the effect of reading comprehension through paper, tablets, and computer. And that method begins since the requirement of participant and media platform. There were 4 steps which participants had to do. Firstly, they were told the goal and process which the experiment, and they were asked to fill out the tablet computer familiarity questionnaire online. And secondly, the participant lead the first text and finish the task for practice. And for the third, the participants lead the other 3 texts for the test, and they found that all the participants can finish reading each text in 4 minutes. And after reading each text, the participants were asked to complete 5 multiple choice and the summarization of the 80 to 120 Chinese characters. And all the multiple choice test and summarization will be present and finished with the pencil and paper. And for the first table, show that effect on reading comprehension across different media platforms by calculating from the multiple choices and summarization of reading. And the result revealed that participants in the paper groups perform better than tablet and computer groups. And for multiple choice questions, the score of paper group was higher than the computer groups. However, there were no difference between paper and tablet group. And the score of the tablet group was not different from the computer group. Yes. And the result also indicate that there were no significant group difference in the score of summarization. And for another research question, they want to find a relationship between reading comprehension and familiarity in tablet user by dividing into 3 levels, which were low, medium, and high, which with the 2 question types of reading. And the results show that there was no difference among 3 levels in the score of multiple choice. However, the results were distinguished in the score of summarization. High level performed better than medium and low, and there were no significant differences were found between high and medium levels of tablet familiarity, as well as between medium and low level.
Okay, next let's move to the third part, which is methodology. The kind of observation is correlation. Is it the relationship between book, which are our focus is print book and ebook, and the reading comprehension skill that can be improved or not. And the sampling, we use convenient sampling. We send our survey to our friends via line as well as to the different line group. Next. Okay. Then survey question. Our participant group is MUIC students, so we focus on their age, college year, and faculty. Moreover, the questions that we ask are created by our idea, but some of them are made from the reading and the journal that we read. And before we launch the survey, we have sent to our friends, some of our friends, for criticizing our question, whether is it good enough to launch or we have to fix something or not. And our survey question consists of the preference tools of using and reading book, the difficulty of reading through ebook, the amount of time that they start reading ebook. Next, how they satisfy and will they continue to use this way to use ebook or paper book, or they're gonna change to something else. And for the result, they they get a better grade or better reading skill? Is it effective for them or not? Next. Okay, then we met the difficulty. Honestly, at first we had focused on the wrong topic question for a month, but when we realized and talked to each other more than before, then we decide the right one. The second one is one of the participants has used ebook just once, so this may this may lead to the result that may not be accurate enough. And some of the questions that we ask just only one answer, but some participants give us multiple answer. Next. Okay, move to the fifth part, which is analysis and result. Next. Okay, first demographic. According to the survey, the participant age are from 19 to 23. The majority of them is 22, which can relate to the college year, which are around 6 or 8. The faculty which is the most popular is BBA, then science, and then arts, respectively. Okay, for the coding, we collect the feeling when participants read through physical ebook, physical book and ebook. It can show that electric device can help you to be a feeling that convenience and comfortable when they read a book. Next. For the result of the survey, the device that they prefer to write down when lecture during the class is iPad and tablet, and the majority of them prefer reading ebook on iPad or tablet more than a paper book. For the difficulty of ebook reading, there are a little bit different between yes and no, and the majority of them can rely on the ebook resources in researching. Next. Okay, the majority of them said that ebook can help them to get a better overall studying, but in reading comprehension skill, there is no significant difference that ebook can help them to get a better at reading. Therefore, the orange bar chart show that the majority think that a book are more effectively way for reading. Next. Okay, then for the amount of time using ebook for reading, the majority of them use it not more than 3 years compared to a book that, of course, they read a book since they can remember, and the result of continue using ebook reading are different between yes and no. They continue to use device for ebook reading, but for a book, some of them might change to the alternative way like ebook. Next to the conclusion, the first one from the literature review, there are slightly different between ebook and ebook. Between ebook and a book. Okay, then from the survey, the majority like to use and read through ebook, but for the result of improved reading comprehension skill is that ebook doesn't effective that much. To answer the research question, what is a better tool for helping reading comprehension skill, is that there is no significant difference between ebook and a book. And this can show that even we are on the Gen Z, we have reached the technology for the half of our life or our life, we still love to read a traditional way, and it may be more effective way for us. Okay, thank you.
Done, man. Yay. If you would go back to first slide. Next slide, slide 2. Yeah, you got the introduction, so you got the structure in there. I like that. Go to your question. Question. Almost there. Keep going. Wait, there it is. The way you wrote it's not exactly what I want. You should have said, is print book or ebook a better tool for reading? I'd have preferred to put it in the question, but you do limit it to MUIC students and stuff. So, okay, let's go to the methodology. I mean, not methodology, the literature search. Stop for a sec. Oh, go the literature search. Yeah. What's the research method here? Hello. What's the research method?
Method.
Yeah, you didn't say it. Once again, the thing that you learned from midterm, it's going to be in the final. It's not going to go anyplace. Is it observational or is it experiment?
They
It's
use the
observational.
method like the compelling.
It's okay, but you forgot to do that part for those two ones. And the other one, how about sample size for this? How big a sample size? You maybe should have, you went from the text, it maybe would have been better to go ahead and do your own a little bit, pull out some of that information because I can't see it that well. Okay. These are interesting cases and stuff like that. They have a lot of good detail in it, but some of the things I want you to show me in the literature search, I didn't see in this part, okay? So let's go to the methodology. Well, slow down. You say in correlation. Okay, observation, correlation, and then you talk about sampling. How big a sample?
What? Again, please.
For your method, how big a sample did you get?
Example?
Sample. How big a sample? How many people in your survey?
Around 35.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think, did you put that? I think it's there somewhere, but it would have been nice to put it here. I like the layout for the slide for this. Go to the next one. I like that you show the survey questions. I like how you explained how you developed them from the articles before. So I really like that part. Go ahead. And then you kind of fine-tuned it, right? So I like all of that. The one thing is, I think some of these you made mandatory. Don't do that. Okay. Okay. So go to the next. Let's see the next slide. But all of this I liked a lot. Difficulties. I love this story here. Yeah, I like the explanation about how you developed and stuff. So I thought methodology. I really liked that part. Why don't you go ahead and go to result? And it would have been better to. It's okay to put 3 slides, but you notice it gets difficult to understand and your eyes have to move around. It would have been better just to put 1 slide, 1 graph, 1 slide, 1 graph. This one's not bad because it's about demographics. So it's not bad having 3 here. And you can see that you got a nice sample size. You got mainly juniors, but you got a sample of everything. And the faculty is pretty representative of MUIC. So go to the next. I like this part where you actually show me that you did coding. Yeah, that's the one problem with fill in the blank questions. You have a lot more work when you have to code it like this. Go to the next. And once again, this is one where you would have been better to break it apart in different slides. You got so much information. The other thing that's missing, you notice the frequency. You did it at the top one. You can see how many, right, in the percent. But you forgot to do it for the other ones, which is, it's a small issue, but I can't really see exactly how many for each one. And you got so much information, it's kind of hard for me to absorb it. But I think it's really interesting. For me, I've seen it when people hated ebooks and 80% said, no way I'm going to do anything online or do an ebook. But right now you're starting to see it will go about half or so. And your survey is kind of interesting because I think students are kind of like, it's okay. Next slide. I think this is cool. yeah, the details are really interesting. So thank you guys. Thank you. About your presenting styles, both of you kind of read a bit too much. Patia, when you got to this part, you got off reading, but in the first part, you kind of just like you were reading off a script. And the same thing with Perinya as well. Try not to do that. Okay. Done, man. Done. Go on to the next one. You got the rest of your weekend, man. You're done. Let's go to 11:30. Kitty Pot, Yanni saw. Oh man, I have to go nag him. Again, thank you guys. I'll be back. Kitty Pot, are you about ready?
Yep,
Where's Yanisa?
she's coming.
Okay. There's nothing to wait for, guys. Let's go.
Okay.
Go ahead, guys.
Okay, so our group presentation is about the effects of color on learning of MUIC students. So here's our tables of contents. We'll start off with the introduction by telling the questions and the hypothesis, and then we'll go to the research, where we'll be explaining the fields of research, and then we'll go to the methods, which will be telling the process of our experiment, and then we'll go to the results, which will be the experimental results, and then will be the discussion that will be analyzing the results and then telling the variables and the problems in our experiments, and then we'll sum up our experiments in the conclusion parts. Starting off with the introduction. Our research questions is, does color help improve studying performances in MUIC students? Then we suggested the hypothesis saying that color help with learning and memory. We interested in this topic because that in the normal class, we could see that there's some group of people who like to take notes with like simple color like black, blue, or red. And there's also some group of people who prefer to use more colorful like notes, like several colors in taking notes. But then nowadays it is mostly on iPads. So then we come up with the questions, and then that is the reason why we choose this topic. And for our research parts, we scope down our research fields into 3 main points, saying that the first one is the color and the effect to the memory, and the second one is color and the effect to the emotion, since we see that emotion could also affect the learning abilities of students. And the last one, the straightforward one, is the color and the effects on learning.
The first research that we chose is about why some colors appear more memorable than others, which talks about the connection between color and memory. Participants for this experiment are undergraduates who will receive a course credit in exchange for participating in the experiment. The experiment is a control and experimental group, where the delay experiment is an experimental group and undelay experiment is a control group. Next slide, please. The objective of this experiment is to characterize any systematic stimulus-specific properties of matching responses to the color on the hue circle, using both, as mentioned before, delayed and undelayed estimate. And for the hypothesis, they try to test 2 hypotheses, which is that working memory maintenance exhibit color-specific biases, and that biases originate in our perceptions. Next slide. For the undelayed experiment, what they do is in each trial, they begin with a white display in the center of the monitor. And after 500 milliseconds, a color word would appear at one of the possible 8 positions. The matching wheel surrounded the space in which the color would appear, which is the circle around the center dot of the screen on the right side. The task for the participant is to click to the color on the matching wheel that was perceived as most similar to the color that was shown. Next slide. For the delay experiment, it was very identical to what I said before. However, the difference this time is that the color would remain on the screen for 100 milliseconds, and then it would disappear from the wheel for 900 milliseconds. And after the delay, they will have the same task, which is to pinpoint as accurate as possible about the color that was shown. As for the result, the main result that are responses drawn from working memory are significantly biased away from the category boundaries and towards category center of the hue circle, meaning that the color near the center of the hue circle are unlikely to produce biased estimates, but the color near the boundary will exhibit larger biases, which goes to show that there's significant result to support the hypothesis as mentioned before.
And for the second research, the topic is the effects of affective arousal on color perception and memory. This the researcher tried to find the link between the arousal prompt, which in this case would be an emotion, with the color perception and color memory. And after the rejection criteria, there are final participants of 158 participants in total, in which the participants will need to complete the color perception task and also the memory task. This is a experiment control group that in the experimental group, it will be divided into 3 groups, which are fear, sadness, and embarrassment. And for the control group would be in the neutral emotion, and the participant would be randomly sorted to different groups. And in this experiment, there is an informed consent to sign, since this experiment could pose a risk of emotional discomfort for the participants after finishing the experiment. The objective of this experiment is to see the link between the current emotional state together with the accuracy of the color identification task. And the researcher suggested 2 hypotheses, saying that the first one, if affective arousal does have effects on color perception, then there should be more accuracy in red and green color stimuli when embarrassment and fear is induced. And second, that the accuracy will decrease in blue and yellow stimuli when sadness is induced. And the second hypothesis says that if arousal does have effects on color memory, then it is expected that first, participant will have increased memory for red and green when embarrassment and fear is induced, and also that participants will have decreased memory if yellow and blue, if sadness is induced. For the methods, there's several processes to this experiment, starting with the pilot testing, which is divided into 2 rounds, which the first thing they will do is that they will tell participants that shape and color have no correlation between each other. And this is also aimed to determine the effectiveness of arousal prompts, which in the first round, they will show the shape and then let the participant pick which color suits the shape. And also they will show a arousal induction prompt, which then the prompt would be in different emotion as stated that before, as fear, sadness, and embarrassment, that after seeing this prompt, they would have to rate their emotional levels. And for the second round, it will be a new arousal prompt, which will be a set of 5 sentences of each different emotions. And then they would have to describe those emotions in only a single words. Next will be the memory objection presentation. They will show a 12 geometric shapes in red, yellow, blue, and green for the participant to remember the shape and the color they're presented in. And the next task would be the color identification, which the participant need to determine color from 24 color swatches from red, yellow, blue, and green, but in a different saturation. And then they will go to the memory task that the researcher would show the shape the same as in the memory objection presentation, but it will be in a white field that the participant needed to say what color it is originally in. And lastly, the researcher will show the happiness stimuli, which is to ensure that the inductive prompt would not affect the participants' permanence and that it would not affect them in the long run. However, the result came out that there's no significant effects of arousal on color perception. However, in the color memory accuracy shows that there is a little bit effects of participant in fear condition in identify the red shape correctly compared to participants in neutral condition. And also in the low arousal group shows that there is a little bit effects of participants in fear of that they could do better in a green color perception task, which better than a participants in a neutral emotions. And as a final analysis, it is to run a correlation between color perception and color memory. It shows that there is a correlation between perception and memory, that color blue, red, and yellow shows a positive correlation between perception and memory. But for green, there's no significance positive between perceptions and memory. However, throughout the experiment shows that there's no significant result to support the hypothesis that they come up in the first place.
As for our method of conducting this experiment, we split 40 participants randomly into 2 groups, 20 for our experimental group and 20 for our control group. The experiment was conducted in the MUIC new building. However, the location does vary from canteen to co-working space and classroom. We approach MUIC students around the campus and ask for the consent to take part in the experiment. Next slide. When the participant give the consent, we give them a Google form to gather their demographic information. And in the Google form, the information we ask is for the age, the name, the major, the current year, and whether or not they are colorblind. After gathering all the demographic information, we could see that the average participant that we got was 22.8, and that there's 28 male students, 11 female students, and there's one who prefer not to state their gender. And 30% of the participants that took part in the experiment were from international business major. Also, majority participants were in their 3rd year, and none of them were colorblind. Next slide. To measure the short-term memory, we came up with 20 mixing of 4 to 5 letter words, where the control group will be given the word in black. And as for the experimental group, they were given 7 color options to choose from, which are yellow, orange, red, pink, purple, blue, and green.
So as you can see from the previous slides, that is the example of our experiment paper, which is a white A4 size printed in 8 colors, the black for the control group, and then several options for the experimental group, which are yellow, orange, red, pink, purple, blue, and green. And both for the experimental group and the control group, they would receive the same word list, but only in different colors, which is printed in Times New Roman font, size 20, 1.5 space, and center aligned. Besides that, we also have a blank white A4 paper for each participant, and also a marker pen, the same color for the experimental group and the control group. And here is our process of doing the experiment. As the first is that we ask for the demographic information, and then we randomly assign the participant to the different group. If they are in the control group, they will receive a word list and given 1 minute to remember all those words. And after 1 minute in, they'll be given 1 white blank A4 paper, and then the black pen for them to write all the words they can remember, but it will be only for 1 minute. And for the experimental group, they will first have to pick which color they want to do the experiment. And then when they pick the color, they will receive the word list from the color they pick, and then they will have 1 minute to remember all those 20 words. And after 1 minute, they will be given a blank a full plate paper and 1 minute to write down all those words, and the pen would be the same color as the words that they remember.
As for the result, next slide. The result for the control group, where they were given a list of words in black, were quite similar all across the board, with the average word memorized of 10.75 words. The least word remember were at 8 words, where the highest word memorized was at 13 words by 2 out of 20 participants. And the most frequent word remember was at 11, with 5 participants out of 20 participants. In contrast, as for the result from the experimental group, where they were given 7 options of the color to choose from, the result as compared to the previous one was quite varied compared to the last one, with the least word memorized was at 4 words, and the highest word remember was at 15, and the frequent word remember was at 8 words.
Then we'll come to the discussion parts that will analyze the results. From the results, we see that there's no significant difference in the experimental group and also in the control group. What this means that it fails our hypothesis that says that color could help with the memory and learning. Moreover, it shows that in the experimental group, there are some that did even fewer than other in the control group. However, we could notice that there are several variables in our experiments, and we then suggested an improvement if we could do the experiment again, and we would have done it better. For the variables, we see as we experimented on their short-term memory, we see that the ability of each participant to memorize words are different. And we could see that the age could be also one of the problems that we face, since when we're doing our research, we noticed that most of the experiment was done on the children, since children would be more attracted to color compared to like a teenager or an adults. And then we see that there is a problem with attention span of each participant, since some can focus longer, but some can focus on like a shorter period of time. However, this could be a problem with the place that we're doing the experiment. As we said that we're doing it in like a lobby of new building, a cafeteria, co-working space, or like in the classroom. A place like lobby or cafeteria are more crowded, so the participants are more distracted by the people surrounding them. But a place like classroom or like a co-working space, the surround environment would be more quieter. And then for the suggested improvement, we see that if we could do more experiments on more participants, the result would be maybe more stable or clearer, which would like get a better result. Or maybe if we could do a different kinds of experiment, like if we do a longer experiment, but like on a several like fewer participants, maybe the result would be better than this experiment. And also that if we could reduce the outside interference that, like I said, the crowded, the surrounding sound, if we could reduce that, I think the participant could focus more on the experiment and the result would turn out to be clearer. And maybe if we could focus on like a single color like black or pink, or maybe a black or a single page with several colors, it might show a different results to the experiment.
In conclusion, when comparing the result between the control group and the experimental group, the results were not significantly different. In fact, the result from the experimental group was lower compared to the control group, which proves that our hypothesis was wrong and that the result does not support our hypothesis as mentioned. Also, when compared to the article earlier, color does not have a significant effect on our memory, and same goes on for the emotions. However, if we believe that if we were to follow the suggested improvement mentioned earlier, like reducing outside interference, like things like noises around the campus that could distract the participant while doing the experiment, it could lead to a more precise and accurate result. We also believe that people memorization ability also depends on the individual themselves. Some individual may have a better memory, some may have a weaker memory comparing to others, regardless of the color of the words.
And here's our reference list.
Slow down a little bit. Go back to the first page, the reference page.
Okay.
Go back one page.
Okay. Okay.
Wait just a second.
Okay, sure.
Okay, go to the next page.
Okay.
Done, man, done. Why don't you guys go back to slide 1?
Slide 1, sure. Here,
Oh man, that's the easy way to do it. Go to your question.
question.
Oh, actually, right where you're at, go back one slide.
Okay, sure.
So you introduced the topics. I like this a lot. It's very clear. Go to the question. And the question is limited to MUIC students, and it's an interesting topic. I like this part. Go ahead and go to your literature. What type of research? Yeah, I see experimental control. How big a sample?
In the article, it doesn't like mention the total participant.
Okay, it should have it somewhere. Go to the next slide. Go to the next part. For the
next research.
Yeah, the next one. And another experimental control. And how big a group? Yeah, I can see the participants in this one. I thought you guys did pretty good with the literature search. You had really good detail for this one, and you explained it quite well. Let's go to your method.
Okay.
And you explain it's experimental control, and I think they know which group they're in, right? For sure.
Yeah.
And keep going. This is their background. Keep going. Yeah, I think you did a really good job for explaining their method as well. I think you went into a lot of detail. I can kind of understand what's the one thing is for the experimental group, you did what?
We let them pick the color.
Okay.
Like 7 colors to pick.
And what did they do with the color?
Then they just have to remember all those words. We just want to see like if they pick their own color, would it help with the memorization?
Yeah, that might have helped a little bit for that explanation. You maybe said it, but going back and looking through it, it's not that clear for that one. Why don't you guys go ahead and go to your results?
Okay, sure.
And I enjoyed this part. You didn't do a t-test, right? You didn't do a comparison. That's what you kind of needed to do. It wouldn't have been hard to do, but that's okay. But yeah, you can kind of see already that there's just normal variation. There's probably not that much difference between the 10 and the 9.8 at all.
Yeah.
So that's all very logical. Go to your, I like your analysis a lot. I like where you go ahead and break it apart and explain many different reasons why you had the results you had.
Here.
Yeah, I really like this part.
Thank
because
you.
you got every explanation about possibly what could happen. Yeah, a pre-test and a post-test would have been kind of nice, right? Or not?
Yeah.
You just did this one time, right? You didn't test them over and over and over again, did you or not?
Yes. Like that's why like if we have done it, like we could have like done the pre-test post-test, which like took a longer period of time, but then the result would be, I think would be a lot better.
I think if they practiced a little bit, they might have got more effective results.
Yeah.
I liked it, guys. For the presentation style, Yenisa, I like the way you present quite a lot. You got a lot of energy and a lot of you got nice. Kitty put you need to put just a little bit more energy into your voice. You're like half asleep. and you kind of read too much a little bit in some places.
Yeah.
Try not to do that. But you guys did so well on all of it, it's not going to affect you much anyway. Cool, man. Cool. I really enjoyed listening to this one, guys. Oh, the other thing is, I really like the way that you guys referred it to the original citation. You give me the article and you tell me where you got it from. So I like that. Done, man. Done.
We have to post it in the Google Classroom, like.
Yeah, why don't you post it there so I don't have to look around.
Okay, sure.
This was cool, guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Done. Now I have to go find Tekken. He's
Thank
run
you.
away
Have
on
a
me.
good day, Ajahn.
Guys.